So I've recently discovered something that has fundamentally changed my life for forever. Uh, if you get into like a lot of psychological circles and a lot of the self-help circles, they all sort of have their own way of fighting anxiety or like pushing back on anxiety or fear or whatever you want to call it. We all know kind of that pit, that feeling in our stomach. But I've recently discovered like what it's all about, okay? And it's been extremely helpful for me. So here's sort of I'll just get straight to it. Your feelings, your anxiousness, your anxiety, those are just the materials that are only showing up because the blueprint requires them to or is asking them to. And the blueprint is your set of beliefs about a particular situation. So your beliefs are informing your feelings. The reason you feel that way is because there is an underlying belief that you hold that is causing you to feel that way. That's it. Like if you're anxious, let's say, you just got broken up with and you're heartbroken, you're having a hard time moving on and you're really anxious about it. The underlying belief there is that you can't be happy without that person and that you'll never move on. Most of us have had our heart broken. I'm married now. But I can recall several times where I got my heart broken, where I was, thought that I needed this person to be happy. And every single time I look back and like, if you've been heartbroken in the past, think about like when you were a kid or when you were growing up and you were so caught up with this person and you thought you could never be happy without him. And then you just like moved on. So the whole underlying belief that you had was, I can't be happy without this person. I can't be happy if I don't have this thing. Well, look at you. You ended up being happy at times without that person. You ended up able to move on. And maybe you're in the middle of that. Maybe that's your current situation. The underlying belief in all our anxiety and all of our fears is, I can't be happy unless this goes my way. I cannot be happy if this thing does not go the way that I want. And the fundamental realization that will completely set you free, and it's the truth whether you want to realize it or not. I'm going to say it and you might resist it. It doesn't matter how much you resist it. It's just the truth. You don't need that to be happy. You don't. Period. I don't care what it is that you've constructed in your mind. I need this in order to be happy. I need this person's approval. I need all of this. All of us are born with happiness in us. As children, even as small children, even in the most dire circumstances, right? You see kids in war zones who still play because children fundamentally have happiness. And everybody thinks about being a child. It's not something, happiness isn't something that you obtain. It's something that's suppressed. And it becomes suppressed when your belief system starts to be changed and you start to believe that you need all this other stuff to be happy. When you were a kid, you didn't need all this stuff. Like you could just have dirt and, just some sunshine, and that's all really you needed to be happy. Even on a rainy day, you could enjoy it. The reason that as we get older, we sort of become trained to add all these extra layers on top of whatever it is that we think we need in order to be happy. But I'm getting far away from the point. Here's the thing. All your emotions are just the materials. Your beliefs are your blueprint. So the next time you feel anxious, okay, think about whatever it is that's making you anxious right now. Think about it. Okay, think about what is like waking you up at 3 a.m. What is the underlying belief that is making you so worried? Well, if this goes wrong, if I lose my job, I'll lose my house. Okay. I mean, so you got to move into Section 8 housing. There's people there who are happier than you. There are people who have less than you who are happier than you. And there are people who have more than you who have everything that you think you want who aren't happy at all. So what does that tell you? That tells you that the happiness isn't even tied to the success of a particular thing or your success in a particular way. It's a lie. It's like a facade. It's not real. You think that it's real. You've told yourself, you've convinced yourself, and this is like telling a kid that Santa Claus isn't real. Telling an adult that the thing that makes them anxious actually isn't going to make them happy at all if they got that the way that they wanted it to. Telling an adult that is like telling a kid Santa's not real. They're going to like go, no, if I had this, trust me, I would be happy. Have you ever seen somebody sad on a jet ski, blah, blah, blah? They're going to come up with all these euphemisms. They're going to sing, they're going to dance around because they don't want to give up their fantasy. And their fantasy is that this thing is going to make me happy. It's become their idol. It's become the thing that they worship. That this is their one thing. But what they don't realize, and what a lot of people don't realize, but you can realize it right now. Like you can realize this right now that you need nothing else in order to be happy. You don't need anything else to go your way at all. Doctor tells you got 3 months to live. Don't care. Fine. I don't need anything. I don't need to breathe. I don't need anything. I'm completely without need, without want. I want nothing else other than what I have right here, right now. This moment is enough for me. It's plenty. I love it. I'm here in it. This is all that there is. This is all that there is to have. And the happiness is within you. What's anxiety is suppressed joy. Anxiety can only exist when you are suppressing your joy. And the only thing that suppresses your joy is a belief system that is lying. So your fear, all fear and anxiety is telling you is it's stop trying to hate your fear and anxiety. All your fear and anxiety is telling you is that you have beliefs that are out of date. It's just a cue to update your belief system. That's all it is. So next time you have fear and anxiety, look to your fear and anxiety and say, you know what? Thanks. Let me break this down for a second. Hold on a second. I'm angry. I'm afraid. I'm anxious. Why am I anxious? Well, because, okay, well, so what? Can I still be happy without those things? No, I can't be happy. Whoa. Can I be happy without? Have people before been happy without these things? I mean, every single one of us, if you are like in 50% of countries in the world, you live better than kings and queens did from like 200 years ago. And that we still are tying our happiness to like material wealth or material success or to relational wealth or relational success. And ironically, we end up missing your life is already happening. It's here. Your life is here. Happiness is here. Joy is here. Eternity's already here. And you're passing it over. And all you have to do is realize that you have an underlying false belief system that you need to upgrade. And so every time you have that anxiousness and that fear, I want you to look at that fear and say, you know what? Thanks for alerting me, but I don't believe that anymore. I don't believe there's monsters under the bed anymore, so I'm going to get in the bed with ease and I'm going to sleep like a baby. I don't believe in the monsters under the bed. I don't believe that if the worst case scenario happened, if the worst thing happened, I don't believe that that's going to take away my ability to be consciously aware of the moment. And as long as I have my consciousness, as long as I have my ability to exist, and who knows what existence looks like after we die in our physical bodies, nothing can be taken from me. Everything that I want, I already have. When the devil tried to tempt Jesus, that's why it was ineffective, because Jesus already had everything he needed. Even though his external needs weren't being met, like validation, people were trying to hunt him down. He was hungry. He was thirsty in the desert. The devil still couldn't get to him because everything was already in him. Everything that he needed for joy and for happiness was already in him. And happiness is a watered down word, but it's essentially just like the absence of anxiety. It's pure bliss. It's pure realization that everything I have, I already need. Or everything I need, I already have. Like that God does not give you barriers to happiness. You give yourself barriers to happiness through your belief systems that are out of date. So what is it, and it's just an exercise. Ask yourself, what belief systems do I have that are out of date? And I promise you, the moment you realize that the idea that you need this thing in order to be happy, the moment you realize that's a lie, like you don't need that job to be happy. I know you're telling yourself you do, but you don't. You can find you another girl. You can find you another job. You can find you another house. You can find you another place to live. You don't need your dad to like you in order for you to be happy. You don't need any of these things. And the moment you realize that, the moment you realize you don't need anything from anyone, you're fixed. You're cured. Everything changes. The moment you realize you need nothing. And the moment you drop all of your attachments, dude, you're free. You're completely free. You go to work and you say, you know what? I'm going to do my best. However it goes is how it goes. You ever notice like the people who are happy-go-lucky and like you can be that. You ever met somebody, it's like regardless of what happens, they're just taking it with the flow. You are capable of being that. Stop telling yourself, I'm just not that way. Maybe you haven't been that way in the past, but the past isn't here anymore. All that is right now, and this is a new moment to recreate yourself. Like you can just be whatever you want to be right now. You can literally upgrade your belief systems right now. You can change what you believe. You probably remember the first time that you went from believing one thing to another, like a distinct moment in your mind where you kind of shifted. You can do that right now. And you can just, every time, tonight, later on, you're doing 3 or 4 hours from now, you're going to have that anxiety come back up. Just say, this is a new belief system. Thank you, anxiety. I know this is something that we've been through a few times. Thank you for bringing this to my attention again. Thank you for trying to bring up, how I feel or how I'm supposed to feel. But I just want you to know we got it from here. It's all good. We actually don't believe that anymore. We don't need this for our happiness. Moving on. Thank you. So instead of fighting your anxiety, fighting with it, observe it, think it, acknowledge it, and then remind it of your new belief system. Hey, okay, anxiety, I see what you're saying, but I don't really need this to be happy. But thank you, though. I understand why you're bringing this to light, but we don't believe this anymore. Moving on. And your anxiety, it wants to be wrestled with and engaged with. It doesn't want to be observed. Your anxiety does not want to be observed. It wants to be wrestled with and engaged with. But when you just observe it, eventually it'll go away. The Bible says, resist the devil and he will flee from you. The more you put away your old system of thinking, right now this is your anxiety, you're so associated with it, and you grab onto it, you hold onto it like crazy. But the more you start to separate yourself from it, and you just put it down, and suddenly you'll find yourself with it in your hand, and you just go, oh, no, wait a second. Just put this down. I don't believe that anymore. I don't believe that anymore. And at first it'll feel like it's unnatural, but after 2 or 3 days, you'll just be like, why was I picking that up so much? Why was I so worried about that? Life is already good. I already have everything that I need. So I know it sounds simple, but I promise you, you can't practice what I'm saying and it not go well. It will go well. I'm telling you, this is all you need. You don't need another self-help book. You don't need more confidence. You don't need more wins. You don't need affirmations in the screen or in the mirror. You don't need all this freaking stuff that is all these self-help. You don't need to be, 10 steps to success. And if you're just successful, then you'll have confidence. And if you're confident, you'll finally not feel like anxious. And your only reason you're anxious is because you're not dangerous enough. And it's like, the reason you're anxious is because you believe there's danger. And the reason you think that there's danger is because in your mind, you've painted a picture of what safety looks like that's just not real. You can have the best job, the best house, everything taken care of, and you still won't feel safe. You know how I know that? Look at these rich kids who grow up with billionaire parents. They're all, half of them, if you were to, who's more likely to turn out insane? A son of a billionaire or a son of like a middle-class family or a lower-class family? Sons of billionaires always end up kind of going off the deep end in some capacity. People who grow up with everything handed to them, struggle is not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world to struggle. You can struggle without anxiety. You can work at your job hard. You can try to be better in the gym. You can try to obtain, some sort of external elevated lifestyle, whatever, without being anxious about it or without needing it. And ironically, let's take it back to the girlfriend example. You know what girls probably are repulsed by? I don't know because I'm not one, but I would imagine. I could talk to my wife about it later. She might have some answers. Attachment, over-attachment. If you are so needy and you need someone so bad, right? You picture a guy who's just like following his girlfriend everywhere. Women love guys who just ignore them. They love guys who are jerks a lot of times. And the reason that is because women just don't like people who are overly attached. Because what's that a signal of? It's a signal of insecurity. And all insecurity is you don't think you're enough. This moment's not enough for you. You need them in order to make you happy. And so you're giving off this and don't be insecure about that. See, now you're tempted to go, oh yeah, I am insecure. It's like, no, don't be insecure about that either. Don't be anxious about your anxiousness. Just acknowledge that it's real and acknowledge that it's a belief system that's just dated. All you got to do is update your belief system. All you got to do is update your belief system. If you've tricked yourself into believing a lie, then you can discipline yourself into believing the truth. And the truth is, you don't need any of these things that you're telling yourself that you need to be happy. You don't need their approval for you to be happy. You don't. Don't care what you're telling yourself. You don't need their approval in order for you to be happy. You don't need anyone to like you for you to be happy. You don't. You don't need anything to go the way that you think it does in order for you to be happy. The moment you realize that, the moment you drop your attachments, and that is the moment that you become eternally blissful. You realize everything that you need, you already have.